There will be no nums ever. I mean, we're back! Hi, everyone! Now then, let's see what's going on through Sataru's head when he blames Kokoro for eating the crisps that she blames him for eating. Missing time, folks. We have missing time. This game. We think we have a handle on things, and it snatches it away. Oh well, let's try. First, the scraps. Moe said that Kokoro was the one in charge of rations. Those vital rations had vanished, leaving nothing more than crumbs behind. Why? No need to think about that one. Hold on, back up. Alternate theory. Someone isn't fucking with us. They're helping us. How much strength did Kokoro need to get everybody in this shelter cabin the fuck out of there? 2. He was legit about to get stabbed by the motherfucker with a switchblade. Neither him nor Kokoro, neither Star nor Kokoro were gonna do something about that, besides run. So someone took over that was like, I'm gonna stab a bitch, and stabbed a bitch, thus saving their lives. Or Sataru's life, or Kokoro's life, or whatever you want to do. So, potentially, whoever's doing this knows the future, knows whatever the hell is going on in the future, besides Uni, potentially, is able to hijack the transfer, put their personality in the bodies instead, and take over for a few minutes, maybe, to get these things to get these things done. Maybe it's Uni number 3. Maybe. Anyway, why? Now you think about that one, Kokoro must have eaten them. Now I think about it, I haven't felt truly hungry since I transferred. The other 3 are practically wasting away, but I can still move around the room. My body is the only one with energy left. Kokoro, why'd you eat them all? Was your hunger so impossible to bear that you couldn't take it anymore? Driven by instincts, they had overwritten your reason? So Kokoro took the rations and... But isn't that just too cruel? Kokoro. The fact that everyone trusted their supplies, you meant that they trusted you, right? And you double-crossed them? Somebody with a questionable moral compass and who knows everything is taking control to make sure we don't fuck up and get killed. Yes! That's a potential theory. That is a very potential theory. I didn't know you had it in you to do such a thing. Suddenly the events of last night resurfaced in my mind. The scene I'd witnessed in the basement of Sphia. The slaughtered corpse of Inamoto. Left hand firmly clutching the blood-stained knife. Come to think of it, Kokoro was the one who'd killed that man so brutally. If we assume that she did it in time with self-defense, then what was it? Was this an emergency measure? Well, it has nothing to do with this anymore. In a crisis like this, such pithy justification is of no use whatsoever. Rather, because we've been driven up against a wall like this, our regard for humanity and morals needs to be that much higher. Isn't that right, Kokoro? What in the world happened to you? What changed you this much? Change? Maybe that wasn't it. Maybe the woman called Fuyukawa Kokoro had been capable of committing such terrible acts from the very beginning. The state of the corpse went well beyond the domain of justifiable self-defense. And even though everyone trusted you with the rations, you turned the tables on them and ate them all. The more I think about it, the less I understand Fuyukawa Kokoro. I want to believe her. I want to have faith in her. But... Hey Kokoro, just what should I do? Give me a second. I'm gonna turn my mic off for a sec. Much better. I'm back. Kokoro, just what should I do? Grasping at straws now, I took out the voice recorder. No new messages. How discouraging. Couldn't think of anything to say from here. I heaved a sigh and put the recorder back. Really? Because you have a lot of information, she doesn't. I checked the time on my wristwatch on the right wrist. Present time, 3:15 p.m. Can't say the accuracy of the time transfer this transfer occurred. Be in a shelter cabin for a period. It should be in the shelter cabin for a period of 33 minutes. When would next transfer occurred? 5 minutes? 10? 15? Since the interval of time is so vague, it's pretty hard to tell. An ominous atmosphere hung in the small room. It reeked of decay that dogged our very doorstep. Every footstep, I suddenly choked. I needed fresh air. Without stopping to consider consequences, I headed to the door. You wanna die? As I put my hand on the doorknob, Yomogi uttered a single sentence. I'll come back before it gets to that. And with that reply, I opened the door. Maybe he didn't even have the strength left to stand, but Yomogi made no other move to stop me. It cleared up. A refreshing cloudless winter sky. A thin, light blue film covered the sky. The sun, already sinking in the west, cast an intense light over everything. Reflected across the vast snowfield, spread itself across the silver powder that surrounded me. I squinted against its brilliance. The glittering sunlight woke a memory buried within me. The space transfer! Space-time transfer. That's right, that's it! How could I forget something so important? That's what I've been saying! This isn't Mount Kakura. We're on Aosagi Island. My consciousness never leaves the Aosagi Island in 2012. So that means the sky I see right now is the sky scene from Aosagi Island. Of course it'd be sunny. Because the sky I saw in Sphia is the same sky I'm looking at right now. I see. That's why the temperature rose too. I said in the magazine I found in the room of Sphia. From 15th until daybreak of 17th, the whole Mount Makura was in the midst of a severe snowstorm. In short, just before the transfer occurred, the shelter cabin has been exposed to intense cold. I couldn't move right after the transfer because I was cold. I understood. I grasped the situation now. This is the Aosagi Island of 2012. My consciousness never jumped across time rather than the area. Yada. We know that. Then what should be my next move? Simple. I lead the three to the shelter cabin out of the circle. If I do that, there won't be a dragged in space-time transfer anymore. That means they'll all end up a year in the future, and that, but now isn't the time to be worrying about the law of cause and effect. A life is irreplaceable. What happened if I sent them back to the Mount Kakura of 2011? Without food or fuel, it's hard to survive on a snowy mountain for very long. For the sake of argument, even if they could hold out until 17th, according to history, all that awaits them is a horrible death buried alive in the avalanche. That explains why the final transfer that occurs doesn't transfer the personality. That was a question I asked earlier, and it was answered. I never brought it up. Because Satoru probably leaves Sphia when the last transfer occurs in Kokuro's route, which would transfer her entirely instead of just her personality, because it wouldn't have a personality to jump to, maybe? Or a body to jump to? So everybody gets transferred in the future, except potentially Yomogi, who might have been outside the circle. And for the sake of argument, even if they could hold out until the 17th, according to history, all that awaits them is a horrible death buried alive in that avalanche. And that explains... Oh, shit. That explains why every time we left that area that it wasn't an ocean. I didn't make that connection because I'm a moron. Because we were outside the 110 meters, of course. And that also means that if we went back during any of those events, instead of finding the cabin when the avalanche hit, we would have found the Spheus facility. Wait, does that mean the Spheus facility is gonna get hit by an avalanche or is not? No, wait. Wait. Did I forget something important here? Uni. He's not the Uni of 2011. We may act that way, he's not. Uni here, both in mind and body, is from the year 2012. He told me himself last night, no mistake about it. But why he lied about it, and why he returned to the shelter cabin like this in the first place, I still don't know for sure. What should I do? How long until the next transfer? Whatever the case, afraid I don't have time to press him for an answer. Do I leave him alone and get everyone else out first? Ah, damn it! I got no time to spare. Still unsure of what to do, I reached for the cabin door. Transfer! Phobia. Uni! I yelled as I rushed in the room. Wait a second, the room I just rushed into wasn't the cabin. I stopped and took a good look around me. This is Hattori's room? Help! Help me, Hattori! What's wrong? Before me were Uni and Hattori. Uni was hiding behind Hattori, speaking out from behind her back. He looked scared out of his wits. As if to protect him, Hattori had spread her arms wide. A transfer. What happened, Uni-kun? Satoru, He tried to attack me. Satoru. What? Wait, Uni. I hurriedly interjected. I don't know what happened, but it wasn't me. I wasn't the one who did it. It's probably Kokoro who cares about that. Isn't Kokoro just a part of you? Leave me alone already. Stay away from me. Uni. I see. I think I more or less get it now. Tori extended her right arm. She pointed her index finger at the door. Her next words were, "Get out, Star." Her cold tone left no room for debate. But, no excuses. I don't want to hear it. Don't you get why he's so scared? I don't. How could I? Because I didn't do anything. It'd be useless to object now. I should leave for the time being. I understand, I said, my shoulders drooping. She just, kicked us out of her room, Alou. Hope you're happy. Having decided to leave, I turned around. I extended one foot towards the door. The moment I did... Yay! Before I knew it, my body was hurtling towards the floor. And then in slow motion, as if I were on the surface of the moon, my surroundings slowly tilted. My face slammed against the doorknob. Ow! Sank into my cheek. My body bent inward like a sheet of plastic. And from that position, my face slid slowly and agonizingly down to the surface of the door. Oh, I hope it wasn't splintered. I hit the floor with a thud. Right then, all movement stopped. Before I realized I was lying next to the door, my cheekbones and teeth hurt like hell. But astonishment overwhelmed the pain. Why was I staggering and unable to support my body like this? Why didn't I throw up my arms in a reflex to protect myself? Hey, what are you doing? A scornful voice trailed me. Really, what the hell am I doing? It took some time for me to remember. I'm always confused after a transfer, but I finally brought myself back up to speed in the situation. Right, I forgot. Body is still being racked with DMT. Insertion. Oh my. Having somehow managed to reach my room, I was now resting on my bed. The effects of DMT were slowly beginning to subside, but I still felt like a rubber doll. If I concentrated with all my might, I could manage to stand or even walk. However, if I lost focus for even a second, I became worn out faster than a pair of socks worn for 3 days and 3 nights straight. Hold on! I don't remember anything like this when Kokoro was in his body. Right? I don't think there was. Weird. Movements requiring the use of my reflexes were especially slow and painful. Right now, if I were to throw up so much paper bag at me, I'd only flail like a fish out of water, unable to avoid it. According to Itsumi, it'll take at least 12 hours. So I can't hope for complete recovery until around 8 p.m. Just perfect. I can't go and look for the culprit like this. Anyway, the only thing I can do now is wait for the DMT to be broken down and expelled from my body. One upside is having my reflex impaired like this is that time seems to be progressing frightfully fast to me. On digital display of my wristwatch, the passage of each second was considerably faster than normal. I slowly noticed the sky had overflowed with that madder red hue. Present time, 3:55 p.m. 4 hours until 8. Put the wristwatch back in my pocket and closed my eyes. I guess I could go to sleep. Or at least I tried to, but just then... I heard the door open. I opened my eyes in a flash and swiveled my neck to the side. So wait, if Yomogi dies in the avalanche, they find the random female corpse we found, and maybe we can have Itsumi die in the avalanche to commit Itsumi for the corpse of Manazumi and Kokoro, and Yomogi can just die and be found. Lin and Kokoro can survive without changing the past. After all, the bodies were unrecognizable. Shamir, that is a really astute observation. That is a possibility. We still haven't figured out what the hell is up with that woman either. Thinking. That is actually a really astute observation about, not observation, a possibility, I should say, that you bring up. They did say the bodies were unrecognizable. They just assumed they were part of the crash. and they had a bunch of lacerations, which they assumed was from the avalanche. We have a dead body with a bunch of lacerations on it, guys. Yomogi don't need to be the dead one. We've got 2 out of 3 bodies that we can use. The woman that's already there, and the dude who got stabbed a bunch. Where are we getting the 3rd body? I opened my eyes in a flash and swiveled my neck to the side. There stood Hattori. What is it now? Something wrong with Uni? I went to get up as I spoke. However, my body wiggled like a dancer desperately performing some strange ballet. I managed to right myself and settled back down in bed. I bent forward and crossed my arm over my knees. Amused by the pathetic condition, Hattori laughed. She wore a complex smile of neither scorn nor pity. What's that weird sound she's making? Was she eating hard candy or something? She backed up against the open door to shut it and cast a sidelong glance at me. She seemed to be holding something behind her back. I could faintly see the edges of something like a magazine sticking out from behind her. Why aren't you saying anything? No reason. No reason, huh? Then why'd you come here for? We don't need Yomogi to die, but I think we still need Utsumi to die. Unless we can avoid that too. We just need one more body. That's it. And until we know where that woman's body came from, we don't know if we have the source of more bodies. To be killed? To be killed. Huh? Maybe I'm here to be killed? I didn't quite get what she was trying to say. I knit my brows together as I gazed at her, trying to figure her out. You want to kill me too, don't you? Me too? Kill her? That too worried me, but for the time being I answered. Yeah, I sure do! Hold on. I'm not gonna actually say that, but I need to be careful with saving, because the, for some reason the shortcuts aren't working. They crossed a bunch of them out, and I don't know why. Why would I want to kill you? Why would I want to kill you? What would I gain from that? So you killed that man because you had something to gain? Listening to her, I finally understood the meaning of that too. She thinks I'm the one who murdered Enomoto. Though I'm getting pretty fed up with this, I answered her. That was Kokoro. My personality isn't directly responsible for it. But still, you're the one who did it, aren't you? One body short for now, maybe that'll change. Yeah, exactly. That might change. Because it was your body. Don't you have to make up for it somehow? Ordinarily, you'd be right. Under ordinary circumstances, that is. But you know what? Right now, I am in an extraordinary and ridiculously unique situation. The normal criteria doesn't apply to me. Unique how? You wouldn't believe me if I told you. You don't know that for sure. I might have been caught up in the very same situation. For an instant, all my thoughts ground to a halt. Same situation? What the? In theory, she's assuming DID. Come on, tell me. Unique how? Like being possessed by some kind of spirit? Is that it? Well, yes, something like that. I answered perfunctorily. I'm way more concerned about why she said the same situation. I wanted to ask her about it, but I kept my mouth shut. But... I see, so that's how it is. The woman called Fuyukawa Kokoro is dead, right? Those words were like a blow that sent everything I thought up to the point flying away, leaving no trace. A cold shiver ran down my spine. I held my breath and let out a raspy voice. Why are you... It's this. She tossed me this thing she'd held behind her back. It hit my shoulder and fell to the ground with a thud. I could neither catch nor dodge it. My body like this, even picking it up was a difficult task. There was no need to waste my strength. What had fallen to the floor was, as I suspected, a magazine. On the front cover was printed headline, Current Events Weekly, July 21st. Where did you... I found it. Hidden under the mattress. Don't go rummaging around people's rooms like that. I shouldn't. Of course not. Which means I shouldn't have read the stuff written in Notepad either? My body slumped and I hung my head. Uh-oh! Someone's been reading our secret notes! The Notepad held every conversation I've had with Kokoro since the beginning. We wrote everything about the personality exchange, about the person out to kill me, and the part where I'd written Hattori might be the culprit. Totaro, how do I say this? She's dead, you know. I understood after I read it. The way I see it, what you're writing is just an exchange diary with yourself. Well, since it has nothing to do with me, I don't really care. I'd forgive her for reading my diary. Yeah, Lou, but she might be a little creeped out by all the hearts you're drawing on it and pictures of her face and, you know, the scrapbook of her eating and sleeping and living and all that other nonsense that you would have in it. Might worry her a bit. Just saying. Since it's nothing to do with me, I don't really care. But more importantly, Satoru looks like someone is after you. And about this culprit, you wrote even if Hattori personality is uninvolved, there's another more ferocious personality lurking within her. You can probably say the probability is high. Bring it down a notch. It's not like that. You don't understand us. It would creep her out a little bit, you gotta admit. Or something like that. But you know what? I'm not even the tiniest bit involved in this. And since I have nothing gained in killing you, Satoru. Right? Didn't you say to stab or be stabbed? Which one do you prefer last night? Did you take that seriously? That was just a little joke. Or perhaps, did you really believe I'm the culprit, Satoru? Not really. No. I shook my head. Or perhaps that means you trust me. This time I nodded. I see, I like it when you're honest. Well then, shall I tell you about the culprit now? I picked up a couple of clues. More or less understand who's really behind it. Brushed the bridge of my nose with a fingertip. I peered into Hattori's eyes. Chose the next word carefully. And who might that be? Hattori pointed straight at me and declared it. You. My heart stopped. I was so dumbfounded I forgot to breathe. The field of vision began to distort. What the hell did you just say? I managed to wring my answer from my paralyzed throat. Satoru, didn't you collapse in the dining area this morning? You ingested the MAO inhibitor and DMT, didn't you? And the person who took them is you yourself. You yourself. Hattori continued. Pulling it all together, this is your explanation. First off, it seems the MAO inhibitor and DMT belonged to Hattori in the first place. This morning after she woke up, Hattori suddenly felt uneasy about Edamoto's corpse and came down in the basement. There she says she discovered a dimly lit room. The door had been left open after the scuffle with Enomoto. She went inside. There was another room through there housing a generator and several shelves of different medications. Discovering the MAO inhibitor and DMT, she took them back to her room. It's beyond me why she would do that, but needless to say, she did it anyway. She's quite familiar with both the MAO inhibitor and DMT. She knew what would happen if she took them herself too. After fasting for 48 hours, she wanted to try experiencing their effects firsthand. In other words, this is what happened. She left the small room carrying the 2 bottles close to her chest. She climbed the stairs back up the dining area. Here her explanation grew a little vague. I lost consciousness there. When I came to, I saw Satoru lying on the floor. Because our transfer occurred, and she transferred. And then her consciousness faded. So they aren't transferring to anywhere else. Hattori and the mute version of her. They're just disappearing and another one's taking over when the transfers occur. And 2 empty bottles right next to you. So I assumed I ingested the chemicals, it seems. Immediately after, Tsumi came out of her room and Hattori promptly ran away, she said. But Tsumi found out she'd stolen the drugs, things have gotten ugly. Wait right there. You didn't witness it directly, did you? But there wasn't anyone else around. I can only think that you drank them, Sadaru. I'm sorry. Not Sadaru, but the Kokoro personality, right? Kokoro did? Asked that almost as a reflex, but I'd already anticipated it. If Hattori was right, then of course it was the other personality, Kokoro, who drank it. So I figured the men of the other crimes were probably the work of Kokoro personality as well. No, you're wrong. That's wrong. I thought immediately. In the bathtub incident, sure, Kokoro might have thrown herself in. What about the clock tower? That was before the space-time transfer occurred. Moreover, my left arm. That couldn't be explained either. I resolved myself and tried asking Hattori about it. She answered readily. Wasn't that just self-mutilation? Star, I hate to say it, but don't you have a couple of screws loose? Could you have those impulses dwelling inside you? So you were the one who seized a knife in one hand, aimed at your other arm, and then with a single stroke? Sorry, I made the same mistake again. Not Sadaru, but Kokoro, right? My left arm. That's right, the wound was on my left arm. but Kokoro was left-handed. That's a contradiction. As I asked myself in thoughts this way, Hattori was continuing. And about the bathtub. Star, you nearly drowned in your tub, right? What if Kokoro personality had suicidal impulses or something? Self-mutilation, suicide. Anyway, Sadaru, the desires for self-annihilation and self-destruction lie within you. No, in Kokoro. In Kokoro. As if she was implying that it were in my heart and mind. Maybe that's exactly what it was. Real criminals in Kokoro, but my mind. My mind. My mind is right-handed. My head is blank. I couldn't think. I came to my senses sometime after Hattori had left. I'd been left behind in my room, isolated, all alone. Present time, 9:45 p.m. We should be able to move now. Night had fallen long before. I took the DMT at night this morning. 12 hours already passed. Kokoro is heart. Kokori is heart in Japanese. Ha! Cool. The residue of the chemical in my body had been disassembled and eliminated, and my physical malaise had only just begun to let up. My body had recovered to the point where I could jump around or do whatever else. As time passed, even the words Hattori had left behind gradually faded away. Hurry up and forget. Or rather, I really wanted to hurry up and forget. I shifted my attention to other matters. I thought about the shelter cabin. What were they doing right now? On this day 1 year ago. Mount Akakura should be undergoing a blizzard right now. With no fuel rations left, how do they feel as time ticks away? In any case, I had to lead them out of the circle as soon as possible. Happened shortly after I thought that. The next transfer. Promise. All of a sudden, the scenery changed completely. Sphia vanished, and the shelter cabin took its place, and a wave of cold struck me. This was no normal cold. I felt pain as though it were eating into my skin. Oh, you type out the first time Kokoro is actually heart. Oh, that's even better! I felt pain as though it was eating my skin. My teeth chattered. Even the air I breathed out felt frozen. No wonder there was no firewood left. Imogi, Lin, and Uni were standing in different places around the room, trying to bear the cold. Nobody was talking. Nobody so much as moved a muscle. Even sustaining their breathing required the utmost effort. I was in a world about to be consumed by snow, ice, silence, and death. I was lying on a bed alone. Slowly got up and went to the window to survey the scene outside. The sky was clear. Obviously, we're on Aosagi Island. Alright, I'm getting everyone out of this circle. Ready to set my plan in motion, I turned towards the others. At that moment, Lin abruptly started to yell. No more, no more, no more, no more, no more, no more, no more. I don't want to die, I don't want to die, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. I can't die yet! At her wit's end, she moaned, writhing in anguish. Not good. The way things were going, Lin was going to have a mental breakdown. I rushed over to her. Saving. Alright, call out to her. Lin! Lin! I grabbed Lin by the shoulders and loudly called her name. Snap out of it, Lin! Get a hold of yourself. Pull yourself together. Constructing a self is one of your strong points, right? Lin's eyes focused on me. Lin. What? Lin fixed me with a sharp glare. What do you want? Just what the hell are you playing at? Flames of hatred ignited in your eyes. Pretending to be Satoru at a time like this? I've had enough. I'll never acknowledge you. I'll never accept you no matter how long you keep pretending to be Satoru. I hate you! Lin threw some blankets over her head and turned away from me. Nothing I could say would be effective now. Oh well, nothing I can do. Once this happens, any further action is useless. When Lin flares up at someone, she won't forgive them so easily. Cooling off period is in order. Can't do anything more than just leave her alone. But for now it looks like Lin regained her self-control. I think she'll be able to keep her composure for a while. I left her side. I got up from the bed and headed toward the window again. Weather outside was clear as usual. Alright, we can escape at any time. Let's get everyone out of here. Hecate. How about we stab Lin instead? Can we not, please? Why does everybody hate her? She's fine! I like Lynn, okay? She's okay. She's just, understandably doesn't react well to super stressful situations. Not everybody does. Doesn't make them bad people. Makes them people. But before that, I decided to check outside the circle one more time. Need to stay focused and careful. I opened the door and stepped outside. 33 minutes had nearly passed since my arrival here, and not much time left. Filled with determination, I kicked off the floorboards inside the entrance and jumped out into the snow. You empathize with her more on Sitaro's route for some reason. We don't see some of her more spiteful actions on Sitaro's route. All we see is her kind of resenting Kokoro because she doesn't realize it actually is Sitaro. But we don't get to see some of her more spiteful actions, which is probably why. Filled with determination, I kicked off floorboards. Okay. I trudged my way through it. Before long, the snow had piled up around my feet, making it impossible for me to go any faster. I probably should have brought the 3 of them with me in the first place. No point in regretting it now, though. I was already all the way out here. It was 110 meters from a shelter cabin to the edge of the circle. Even if the resistance to snow, a one-way trip should take only 5 minutes if I hurried. There was a gentle uphill slope on the way, but I'd already worked into my calculations. I continued trudging through the snow and up the hill. I raised my eyes to the heavens. Faint clouds drifted up far above, but otherwise the night sky was ironically clear. Could you be less people if being a person is a problem? Being a person is always the problem, isn't it? Once the space-time transfer occurs, the starry sky will probably be erased in an instant as well. Though my consciousness would remain here at Esaga Island, so I wouldn't be able to see it happen. I silently continued up the hill, and eventually reached the edge of the circle. I knew it was on the edge because there was a slight difference in elevation. The layer of fallen snow on the outside was visibly lower. To me, the clearly defined difference between the levels of snow was a strong indicator I was in an artificial environment. When I raised my head, spread before me was the same scene I saw 2 days ago, completely unchanged. Far off in the distance, the horizon dividing sky and sea. A myriad of twinkling stars above it, the glassy depths of the dark ocean below. This was Ayasagi Island after all. After I finished confirming it, I took a deep breath and immediately turned back the way I came. But just as I did, I caught the merest glimpse of a strange shadow at the corner of my eye. I only walked 10 or 20 meters from the shore. The shadow was just inside the circle. Some kind of flesh-covered cloth covered it. I think it's clothing. Drawn to it, I headed away from my previous path and headed over to it instead. Oh, it's the woman? I realized with a single glance it was a corpse. The remains of a lone girl lay there, almost buried in the snow. I tried lifting her arm, but she didn't move an inch. No, she was clearly past the point of being able to move. Color an ice sculpture the way she was now. She was frozen solid, no longer any different from the snow that surrounded her. Only her dead face, so similar to a sleeper's, hinted that she'd once been life here. Her pale white skin, face encased in ice, shone under the faint light of the stars with almost enchanting beauty. It may have been imprudent, but I also forgot about time as I stared at the face. Of course, I couldn't recall ever having met her. Just who is she? And how did the girl get all the way here in the first place? Turning my senses, I searched her until I discovered a wallet. There's a driver's license inside. I drew it out and looked down at it. What? What? That's why it's blank! That's why there's nothing! When they transfer, she's transferring into a dead body! Oh my god, okay! Okay! First of all, hi! Second of all... Okay, first of all, third of all, actually. Deja vu moments. It needs to get out. It needs to get out. Just like a minute-long span where I'm having a deja vu moment. Where I've seen this exact scene, experienced it the same way. It's weird, and I need to get out of my head. Anyway, I even saw Lumiere say that. Told you we don't know that. Don't know what specifically. That the transfer... I mean, what? I'm so confused. There are certain things that are confusing me. But I mean, this does explain a lot. So the mute personality... Oh, okay, hold on. But which one is Hattori? Which one is Hattori? The mute one or the non-mute one? Did the non-mute one just decide, hey, everyone's called me Hattori, I'm gonna go with it? Or is the non-mute one Hattori, this girl, and the mute one is Inubushi Keiko's original personality? Okay, anyway, moving on. Suzukage Hattori. That was what was written here. I left her remains lying there and began to run. Naturally, it wasn't as though I felt no guilt, but I no longer had the freedom to dwell on that right now. I kicked up snow as I ran. I practically rolled down the slope back to the cabin. Fragmented thoughts raced through my head. Suzukage Hattori. Because of transfers with Kokoro from the mountain area. Yeah, exactly. That would have to be true, Alu. That's the logic I'm coming to. That's why I think obviously the voice, the one who speaks though, why did she just go along with it? Does she think she has DID? Because the reason why we think we figured out we transferred is because we were experiencing things as the other person. If you don't experience things as the other person, it is almost identical to DID in a lot of cases. So is the person who might be Inubushi Keiko, or it might be one of her other dominant personalities, just assuming, oh, I must have DID because I keep going blank for a while, and somebody else takes over. And everybody calls me Hattori, so I guess I'll just be called Hattori. Or is it something more sinister than that? Suzukage Hattori. The girl's name was Hattori. Though she was no longer alive, the girl was the real Suzukage Hattori. At the same time, I've got to get these three out of the circle. Chaos reigned in my head. I felt like I was losing it. I charged forward, raising my legs as high as I could, hoping to regain my reason. At that moment, I heard something, a whirring rhythmic sound rending the atmosphere. That's why they go after the helicopter, because they hear the helicopter that's near Sphia, not near them. Of course. That's why everything becomes awful. Oh no. Looking up, I saw a helicopter. It's probably a self-defense force transport vehicle. Its propeller rotated in its designated circle, keeping its heavy frame in the air. This isn't Mount Okakura, it's Aosagi Island. It wouldn't have been all that strange for a transport helicopter to pass overhead, but I only knew that because I knew the truth. Imogi and Lin were inside the shelter cabin, and as soon as I thought that, sure enough, both of them came flying out of the cabin, panicking as though this was their last chance. Hey! Over here! Down here! Save us! She's here! Over here! Where do you think you're going? They were probably drawn out by the sound of the helicopter. They waved their arms at the aircraft frantically. Mogi was clutching a flashlight in one hand. After a while, Uni appeared as well, staggering as he ran. I nodded and made sure all three of them were there. Then I took off running after the helicopter. Luckily, it was headed right in my direction. I stood there in place and waited for them to come to me. Turning my head, I followed it with my eyes, breathing hard. It was pretty high up. I could tell what it was by the way it was shaped, but from this distance it was difficult to make out anything else. The helicopter glided further away through the starry sky. Eventually, the three of them reached me. Hey, what do you think you're doing, Fuyakawa-san? Don't you know what's going on? Look, over there. It's a helicopter. Helicopters come. Mogi shouted, breathing roughly. He pointed straight up the helicopter overhead. Shouting at the top of his lungs, Yomogi began to chase after it again. Lin and Uni followed close behind him. Chased after them as well. There was no reason not to. Except this helps him because they're going out of the circle. He doesn't need to explain a thing. He just says, yep, go after that helicopter. Except they're not going to make it in time. We know when we swap from Kokoro to him back here that they're back on Mount Akakura. If they continue like this, the three of them would probably escape the circle. Wait, the three of them? And what about me? What would happen to Kokoro's body? Yep, and I was about to ask that same question. But even as I thought that, I ran on, continuing my pursuit. I caught up to Uni. As we ran, he began to speak. Satoru, what is it? Cheer this. There's something I need to tell you. Out of breath, he tried to speak over the pauses of breath that just broke up his sentences. Did you water yourself? I did water myself, Godot. It was the first thing I did in today's stream. We've very much watered ourselves and confused the hell out of me. And then, you know, we ran into Enomoto today. So, that was interesting. Wait, this does add some extra context. Okay, thinking of that later. Out of breath, he tried to speak over the pauses of breath that broke up his sentences. So what is it already? Listen, Satoru. There's no way we'll make it out of the circle. Huh? It's going to happen soon. Space-time transfer. I glanced down at my wristwatch. Hands were pointing at 10:52 p.m. The edge of the circle was still far off. Satoru, calm down and listen to me, okay? This will be the last time that we'll meet like this. His words stopped me in my tracks. Uni halted as well and turned to face me. How should I say this? Next transfer won't happen until the 17th. How could you possibly know that? Just be quiet and listen, we got no time left. Next transfer will happen on the 17th at 4:48 a.m. Let me repeat. Next transfer will happen on the 17th at 4:48 a.m. That's why until then... That is the last transfer. Fuck. Ah, no. Unmask. Damn it, a transfer? The starry sky disappeared and the temperature around me suddenly rose. Before my eyes, I couldn't see a thing. I could only feel, and it was like I was being wrapped in something very soft. I felt human bodily warmth against my face, arms, and chest. I seemed to be holding someone. No, might it be the one being held? Timidly pulled my body away. Still didn't know what was going on. I looked up. Before me was Utsumi's face, wearing a gentle smile. What? Wasn't there an earthquake? I seem to recall an earthquake. I jumped back reflexively. Utsumi met my reaction with a puzzled stare, her eyes wide. I began to think about my current position in my body. Did Utsumi's face being above me mean I was kneeling? Oh, your nice living room. It looks more like my bedroom, really. Both my knees were on the floor and my face was buried in her chest. Guess they had a nice party. They had the best party. This is what you get for watering. You get nice music. Cool. Why would Kokoro... This was Sophia's living area. It's the same as it always was. Wait, what is this? You can't give spoilers. Exactly. That's why we transferred, because I banned him. Banned Uni. Gone. Never coming back. Never able to chat again. I was shocked at drastic alteration in the appearance of the living area. Okay, this doesn't look like earthquake damage. This looks like somebody took a knife and went to town. The sofa had been ripped to shreds, the stuffing exposed like entrails. The table had been flipped over and the chairs were broken. The computer monitor knocked on the floor. The living area and dining area used to have a glass divider between them, but... What's he supposed to do with his data disk walkthrough if nobody can read it? They're not for streamers, they're for you guys, so you can play on your own. Eh? It was no more, having been shattered in tiny pieces. The plasma display screen on the wall was full of cracks that radiated outward from its center. A huge hole gaped open in the middle of it, as though it had been shot through with an enormous bullet. A scene of terrible violence. This is beyond a tragedy. Who would destroy a perfectly good TV? I mean, really? Really? I was speechless. The concept of words had completely left my head. Have you calmed down? She asked, simply smiling calmly. I was still in shock at the sight of it. All my efforts to gather my thoughts were completely futile. Yukito-kun, right? I slowly nodded. When did your personality switch? Somewhere between your left and right boob. I'm sorry, I mean, just now. Just before I stood up. From my extremely limited command of spoken language, I was somehow able to pluck the appropriate words. I see. So you don't remember anything then? About what? Your rampage in the living area. Missing time! Why is there keep being missing time? I wonder. A rampage in the living area. Rampage? That's right. In other words, this? Kokoro did this? Yes. Why? I wonder. I have no idea. By the time I heard you, you were already in the midst of it. And then I tried to calm you down. By holding me? Mitsubine silently nodded. Why had Kokoro done such a horrible thing? No matter what the circumstances were, I just couldn't understand how this level of violence was the product of her hand. Yet another mystery had been born. And that wasn't all that bothered me. Mitsumi's attitude. As I recall, didn't she resent me for getting in the way of her plan? To a certain extent, she had returned to her gentle self this afternoon, and even then, she didn't so much as smile at me once. But it was different now. She gazed at me with eyes full of love, like the Virgin Mary. Tried to gauge her true intentions. Okay, first of all, we know she ain't a virgin. Just saying. Weird comparison to make. Ever a mystery, an obscuring tempest of mysteries. I couldn't understand any of this, but that doesn't matter anymore. Gotten used to never getting any answers. Sorry, but let me be alone for a while. With that weak utterance, I went to take my leave. But I stopped at once and turned back. Come to think of it, where are Hitori and Uni? Whoever's responsible for his missing time is smart enough to conceal himself and blame it on Kokoro and Satoru, respectively. Yeah. Yeah, or at the very least, not say enough that everybody around them can just assume that it was Kokoro or Satoru. To be honest, she said she didn't notice until he was in the midst of it, so she might not have had any interaction with whoever this third person is at all. And in the other situations, nobody said that they had direct observation of this third person. The only person who might have potentially gotten observation of this third person is potentially Uni, is one of them, because he said Satoru stabbed Enomoto, or Enomoto himself, who got his full self stabbed. A lot. Like a lot. So, the only people who could have potentially actually observed this third person is some other thing. Whether the rats come back from the dead to fuck this shit up. I don't think that's how it works. It's good. Yeah, we already got one dead person who's apparently swapping personalities. Why not? Oh no. It's the rat. Fuck. It better not be the rat, because that would be the worst. That would be the worst. And I'm kind of making an assumption about the whole ripped up newspaper thing being a result of this third personality as well. I don't know if that's the case, because if it is, it adds a certain timeline to the events where the third personality takes over. If that isn't the case, then that timeline might be much shorter. So that's sort of what I was thinking about earlier. Rat personality exchange theory. It's the rat! Fuck! We should have named the rat! They ran away. They went into Unikun's room together. Is that so? Thank you. I didn't dare question her any further. If she says they ran away, that means the Kokoro hadn't just attacked inanimate objects, but people as well. How could this have happened? Well, you don't have any more transfers to worry about, right? I dragged myself out of the room with heavy feet. What really happened to Kokoro? That was the only thing passing through my mind right now. Just what had happened right before the transfer. I checked the notepad, but there wasn't any new messages there. I wanted to know what happened at Sphia while I was away. Besides reading Kokoro's messages and asking others, I had no way of knowing. Should I try asking Uni and Tori? I didn't really feel up to it. It was plain as day what had happened with them. It'd be great if it were another way, a way to check what had happened before the transfer. Just then I remembered something. Enomoto's words. If you want to know that badly, I'll show you later. I just finished organizing data from all before when you got here. Data? Now I think about it, there was surveillance equipment set up in this small room. The data disk! Uni kept saying he's not from the future as it is now, he's from the future in the future of this future. He had that data disk because that was the data Inamoto had. Motherfucker, did we give him the data disk? And... Motherfucker. Perhaps 2 like biscuits. Now that I think about it, there was surveillance equipment set up in the small room. Also that, which meant the data could have been the footage recorded from surveillance cameras, could it? The machine in the small room might have stored all of it. I left the room right away. The door of the room had been left open. Passing through it, I stood before the console. The computer was still on as well. The OS was no different from the usual. I sat at the terminal and began to type. I was able to retrieve the video surveillance data with ease. In the meantime, I tried playing the footage from the camera in the living area. It flickered on life at the main overhead monitor. I watched intently. Sunday, January 15th, 2012. Time, 10:18 p.m. Location, living area. I saw myself on screen, engrossed in conversation with Uni. The camera probably didn't have a microphone because I couldn't hear any voices. I had no memories of this, which meant the body I was seeing was controlled by Kokoro's consciousness, or potentially a third party. Uni moved his lips as though muttering something. My body did as well. Uni gave a small nod. He squeezed his palm shut. My body drew closer to Uni. Uni slowly began backing away. You said a lot of words, Satoru. You gotta be more specific. Yeah. An expression of fear formed in his childlike face. Fear followed by sorrow? Tears were starting to well up behind his glasses. And then, for a time, the two stood still as I looked on. The silence continued. Eventually, Uni raised one arm. Setting a finger, he pointed straight at my body. This is when he told her that Satoru was the one who killed him. Uni's lips just barely moved, and immediately after that... What was I thinking? My body suddenly struck Uni. What? Uni's small body was knocked to the floor. And then, as if it hadn't been enough, my body hurled itself on top of Uni with great force. My body began to squeeze Uni's thin neck. At that moment, Hattori suddenly appeared from the corner of the screen. Hattori circled around behind my body, wrapped her arms around its hips, and began pulling with all her might. It looked as though she was trying to tear my body away from Uni. My body turned around and threw Hattori's to the floor. Since their mouths were wide open, did that mean they were yelling? And thus an act of shocking brutality unfolded before my eyes. My body tore apart the sofa, grabbed the ashtray from the table and aimlessly hurled it away. It hit the plasma display right on. Those fragments of the screen exploded in the air. It swung the chairs around, kicked over the table, and grabbed the computer monitor, yanking at it until it tore free of its wires. Still gripping the monitor, it used it to demolish the glass partition between 2 rooms. I couldn't bear to watch what happened next. My body went into a violent fit, tearing around the room like a wild beast. This is Fuyukawa Kokoro's true nature. Wrong conclusion to jump to! Jump to my conclusions! My conclusions are better! The screen now showed the panicking figures of Uni and Hattori as they tried to escape. Why do they have an ashtray? I didn't think anyone there smokes. Obviously for when Yomogi visits. I mean, he was on his way to visit after all. It's only been a year since he died. They probably keep it around just for him. They ran into Uni's room hand in hand. I really don't know. Taking no notice of their disappearance, my body only slipped further and further into its own rampage. Wait! Wait! Hattori was yelling. If that was during Kokoro's transfer, no voice should have been coming out. She does make some noises, but she doesn't yell. Like, actively yell at someone. So when the transfer occurred, there's that gap where Satoru is not in Satoru's body, but he's also not in Kokoro's. That doesn't matter for whatever transfer is going on with her. The transfer that's going on with Hattori/Keigo isn't affected by that gap, maybe. Taking no notice of their disappearance, my body only slipped further and further into its own rampage. It was almost as if my body was trying to validate its own existence, as if it were clumsily trying to assert itself. My body loved this world and hated it at the same time. My body was playing with the world. My body screamed out loud, then it wept. My body was struggling as if it was doing all it could to destroy this world. And eventually, my body exhausted itself and slept in Itsumi's bosom. Still hate that word for some reason. Alright. Tsumi seemed to pity my body, but at the same time, she seemed to love it as well. It might be an empty or interim personality that's angry and murderous instead of a third person. I mean, potentially. What it could also be, something that struck my mind, is a very instinctual personality. Not necessarily limited by normal rational thought. But I don't know why it would simply attack at first if that were the case, so I don't really know. It's someone who's very, very confused. Which is understandable if they don't know what's going on. Tsumi seemed to pity my body and seemed to love it as well. With her warmth, she forgave everything, accepting everything with the magnanimity of a goddess. Or at least that's how the images of the screen made me feel. My body was sleeping in Tsumi's embrace, peacefully, as if dozing beneath the early spring sunlight. We've seen Hattori have a rampage like this. Ooh, Shamir, good connection. We have. So the body, that personality might not just be switching with us. It might not be just taking over our... Is the third personality Keiko? Is the third personality Inabushi Keiko? Or the one that murdered all those people all that time ago? Is it the one that takes over and just goes into violent rages? Consider the following. Satoru's all slumped over there. The rat was also slumped over once. Fuck! The rat is Inabushi Keiko! The rat is Inabushi Keiko! No! Oh god! Everything's awful. As if dozing beneath the early spring sunlight, there wasn't a hint of disgraceful behavior from a moment before. Utsumi held my body to her chest, with her half-closed eyes as the Virgin Mary, and an artless smile on her face. Well, January 16th, the 6th day. Another shadow. And I think that's an excellent place to end today's stream. Now then, I haven't been linking this enough. God damn it, that's not what I wanted to link. I wanted to link you. Hold on. Link right. Yeah, no, don't do that. Thank you. There's the link to what you can be voting for what I play next time I stream. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this tomorrow or what people vote for, though. Speaking of, I haven't actually checked the results, so let me check that real fast. Usually I'm on top of this. I am not on top of this. Currently, it seems we've got a 6-way tie. Fuck. Okay, Shining Force 2, Bahamut Lagoon, Sailor Moon, Another Story, Star Ocean, Digimon World Dawn and Dusk, and Tactics Ogre are all tied for first with 1 vote. God damn it, guys! Help me out here. Around whenever the end is, I can answer almost any questions. I told Kia to vote for Sailor Moon, but no, she had to vote for Digimon. You can vote for more than one option. Or the TL Wiki page can answer a lot. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and stream this tomorrow. You know what? Illusion of Gaia was fun. Whatever I did in between wasn't working for folks, apparently. But I'm okay. You see, I'm gonna go ahead and tomorrow stream more of Remember 11. Because I want to finish this, and I'm very confused. So, you know what? From now on, I'm streaming Remember 11 until it's done. Every day that I would normally stream. You know what I mean. Anyway, let me put on some music real fast, because no music's weird. Anyway. Fuck yeah, more Remember 11. So come back here tomorrow for more Remember 11. In the meantime, my name is Lamar Haven, and I stream Monday through Friday starting at 10 a.m. PST. That is 1 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday, Thursdays, I stream what you've seen here. Remember 11 Blind. And I'm going to be streaming it Monday through Friday until we are done. Really want to see people's reactions to the ending. It's the best. I'm excited. I don't know. Tomorrow might be the ending. Maybe it won't. We'll see. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, normally I stream a blind RPG as chosen by you, the viewers. The straw poll is in chat. The straw poll is in the title of today's video, and the straw poll will probably be posted on YouTube every once in a while. However, remember 11 gets cross-posted to YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, you can follow the link on screen, a link below the stream to my YouTube channel. On YouTube, I have a YouTube-specific series that is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Resident Evil 5. Join Chris and Jeff as they search Africa for the source of the BOWs. I've actually recorded the final episode of the main story, so that should be going up next week. And then we continue straight on to the DLC. I'm excited to get to that, because that'll be a blind playthrough of the DLC, because I never played the DLC for that game before. At least not the missions. I've done the DLC mercenary stuff. Anyway, that means I'm done for the day. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you folks next time.